All right, so you've all seen the Wall of Fame and you know what has worked for me in the past. Here's some stuff that I picked up in the off season. So this stuff has not been tested out yet. This is stuff that's hopefully going to make its way to the Wall of Fame, maybe the Hall of Shame, who knows. But I got to tell you, this FedEx package right here, this is something I'm most excited about this season, and it's something that just came out this past week. What is it? Well, let's get that bag opened up. That's coming up on Live to Fish. Hey everybody, welcome back to Live to Fish. And if you hear something that sounds like a horse running around, well, that just happens to be Hank chewing on the bone upstairs. And until I get a soundproof room for my video work, those are the kind of things you're going to hear. But hopefully you're not here for Hank. You're here for some fishing information. And let's talk about the Topwater Bite. Now that's something that everybody that has ever had a Topwater Bite, that has to be, gosh, one of the most popular strikes that you can possibly get. There's just nothing like dragging a popper or dragging a frog across lily pads or even some of the open water along the shoreline, and bam, you get hit hard. But in addition to walking baits, one of the most underappreciated baits, at least in my opinion, is the toad. And if you remember from some of the videos from this past season, and I'm going to link a few of them down below in the video description, the Googan Toad was an absolute killer for me out at Harson's Island and also up north when I fished with my brother-in-law Andy. Now the toad excels at not just a topwater bite, but it also acts as kind of like a wake bait and or a swimming bait, because sometimes it's kind of like just subsurface, just below the surface of that water. And the kicking action on those legs is absolutely outstanding and attracts that fish bite. If you haven't tried a toad yet, I highly recommend them. And there's something that just came on the market this past week, and I'm really excited about it. And it just so happens one of the top bait manufacturers just came out with a new toad, and it's in here. So let's get it open and take a look. All right, let's see here. I'm super excited about this. I absolutely love the toad, and I absolutely love this manufacturer of baits. Oh, FedEx makes some stubborn packages. All right, before I reveal this, I got to tell you, as much as I love the Googan Toad, I think I've showed you some videos in the past about how you can get more life out of your soft plastics by using those little screw locks on top of an EWG hook. Now, it works really good for trying to keep those Googan Toads lasting as long as possible, but unfortunately, I don't know what they make them out of, but they just don't seem to last very long. It only takes a couple of strikes and a couple of snags, and they get torn up pretty quickly. Not to mention the abuse that they get from the toothy critters biting off those legs. I mean, who's not a fan of frog legs? But people, these are toads. They're not supposed to be eating the legs. But as you know, one of the most durable products on the market today is the Elaztech product by ZMan. And I've caught well over 50 rock bass on just one Ned rig with the TRD from ZMan. So this Elaztech, it's not just talk, they actually do last. And ZMan just happened to come out with a toad. That's right. It's called the GOAT Toadz from ZMan. So here it is right here on Live to Fish. And this is the red bone GOAT Toadz. I opted for the 4-inch size. You get 3 in each package. And again, this is the red bone. What you'll have is you have like a gray underbelly, and you have like a red and green pumpkin, red flake top side. Very sharp. And let me take those apart here. But again, this is the Elaztech. This is what Elaztech does. See that stretch? Over and over again. It can take the hits, it can take the bites from the toothy critters, and it still keeps going. So in addition to the red bone, I also picked up the copper Truce color. You know, the copper Truce color is one of my absolute favorites when it comes to the Ned rig. The TRDs and copper Truce absolutely get bit non-stop here. So here it is, the GOAT Toadz in the copper Truce. Again, the green pumpkin on top with the red and black flake. The chartreuse underbelly. And it's even got the slit for the EWG hook. Very nice. Very cool. Another color I picked up right off the bat is the deal. Again, the deal when it comes to the TRD is, again, another top producer for me on the Ned rig. And let's take a look at the deal color in case you haven't seen that before. It's kind of like a blue and blackish top and a pearlescent with a little hint of blue underbelly. Kind of give it a real natural appearance. Very nice looking bait. Very nice looking color. And of course, the last color I picked up is the tried and true green pumpkin. Now, green pumpkin's always a good color, but the way they have this designed, it's not just like a green. They have it actually as like a darker hue of green. So it's almost like a black underbelly with a translucent legs with the black flake and the green pumpkin body on that, on the top. Very sharp. All right, ZMan put together a video series on how they developed the GOAT Toadz, and I'm not going to go through the entire thing, but I'm going to link that down in the video description below. Do yourself a favor, make sure you check that out. Now, the reason why they call it the GOAT Toadz is because it's kind of a derivative of their goat lure, and their goat lure was kind of misconstrued at the beginning to almost imitate a topwater bait, but it wasn't meant that way. It's usually used for trailers, like on chatterbaits and or jigs. So to end the confusion, what they did is they put out the GOAT Toadz to give you a definitive topwater lure. Okay, so I can't stress enough, if you have not tried a toad for a topwater bite yet, you owe it to yourself. Try it out. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of the Googan Toad, but I'm just not a fan of the durability. I am super excited to try these because that Elaztech, those things last. Now, I fish this a couple different ways on an EWG hook. One is weightless, which gives you more of a pure topwater action with this lure. Gives you the legs kicking on the topwater without it really dropping too far. And I also fish it EWG style, Texas rigged, with a bullet weight. And mainly I fish it with the bullet weight when there's a lot of heavy cover. Say there's reeds, say there's some lily pads. What I do is I like to let it hit, sit, and then I like to drag it across and let that bullet weight drop it down into the water like a natural toad or frog would do, jumping in. But I don't let it sink too far. I let it bring it back up, and I let that leg action do its work, just subsurface, just below the surface of the water. And boy, does that get their attention, and it gets the bites. So as you can see, it can be a lot of fun fishing with toads on topwater. And that's why I'm super excited for the durability and use of these GOAT Toadz on the water this year. So leave me some comments down below. Let me know what you think about the toad bite. For me, I think it's one of my favorites. And again, we're almost at 700 subscribers. Thank you so much for all of your support. If you're not a subscriber, please do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button now. Make sure you hit that notification bell to let you know when Live to Fish puts out new videos. But either way, thank you all for being here. I appreciate your support. And until next time, be safe and be well. And as always, live to fish. Take care, everybody.